Hey everybody, Ross here, and this is Bible Study Superstar. If this is your first time on this channel, click here to go back to the intro, or if you'd like to see what's just been happening recently, click here to go back to Genesis 28. Now, without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right on in to Genesis 29, verse 1. So Jacob went on his journey, and came to the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and saw a well in the field, and behold, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. A large stone was on the well's mouth. Now all the flocks would be gathered there, and they would roll the stone from the well's mouth, water the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the well's mouth. And Jacob said to them, My brethren, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. Then he said to them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. So he said to them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And look, his daughter Rachel is coming with the sheep. Then he said, Look, it is still high day. It is not time for the cattle to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go feed them. But they said, We cannot until all the flocks are gathered together, and they have rolled the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. Now while he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, and Jacob went near, and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flocks of Laban, his mother's brother. Then Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's relative, and that he was Rebekah's son. So she ran and told her father. Then it came to pass, when Laban heard the report about Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him and kissed him, and brought him to his house. So he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely you are of my bone and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what should your wages be? Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were delicate, but Rachel was beautiful of form and appearance. Now Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to you than I should give her to another man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed only a few days to him because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go into her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. Now it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to Jacob, and he went into her. And Laban gave his maid Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a maid. So it came to pass in the morning that, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this you've done to me? Was it not for Rachel that I served you? Why then have you deceived me? And Laban said, It must not be done so in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this one also for the servants. but you will serve with me still another 7 years. Then Jacob did so and fulfilled her week. So he gave him his daughter Rachel as a wife also. And Laban gave his maid Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as a maid. Then Jacob also went in to Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served with Laban still another 7 years. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, "The Lord has surely looked on my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me." Then she conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Because the Lord has heard that I am unloved, he has therefore given me this son also." And she called his name Simeon. She conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Now this time my husband will become attached to me, as I have borne him 3 sons." Therefore his name was called Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Now I will praise the Lord." Therefore she called his name Judah. Then she stopped bearing. Alright, verses 1 to 14 are really just setting the scene for what happens in the rest of the chapter. So, the first thing that jumps out at me is the fact that deception runs in Jacob's family. Rebekah learned her deceitfulness from either her parents, her brother Laban, or both. Then Rebekah taught Jacob how to be deceitful in turn. It's also a little surprising to me that Jacob didn't expect to be deceived himself. Moving on. When Laban pulls the switch of his 2 daughters, I'm not really concerned about Jacob in this instance, but Leah. Verse 17 describes her finest feature as her delicate eyes, while it describes Rachel as one seriously hot woman. Was Leah so, quote, ugly that Laban felt that she would only get married if someone was tricked into it? Or was Rachel so beautiful that there was no way Leah would have a chance? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Either way, Leah was extremely rejected by both her father and Jacob. I can't imagine how she could have been feeling about her situation and herself. For all intents and purposes, no one wanted her. Instead of becoming angry and bitter, though, she tried to win Jacob's love. This tells me that she was probably used to rejection and being overlooked by this point in her life. Her determination to change her situation, despite her circumstances, is admirable. Moving on. God saw how rejected and alone Leah was, and so he made her very fruitful while making Rachel barren. God still does this sort of thing today. He loves to come to the rejected and lonely people of the world and make them into people who do great things for God and sometimes take the world by storm. Now, when Leah gave birth to her first 3 sons, she said things that were hoping Jacob would finally notice and love her. He still didn't. When she bore Judah, the 4th son, she said, "Now I will praise the Lord." This is an important turning point for her. She recognized that pleasing Jacob and winning his love was not the point. The point was that God was using her to accomplish his plans, and that meant that he loved her and found her valuable. And finally, I think it's important to note, too, that Jesus was born in the line of Judah, which means that Leah gave birth to the line that gave birth to Christ. I'd like to think that Leah finally got the last laugh, so to speak. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, feedback, or suggestions, leave them down below in a video response or in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all soon in Genesis 30.